Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Okay, yeah. What's good, guys? Happy Monday. On today's episode, we are going to be covering the best fat loss diet, or the 6 things that each and every single fat loss diet is going to need to be successful. So I drew out a few things here, but first I want to talk to you guys just a little bit about the challenge that I'm currently doing, and that is, it's a fat loss challenge. I'm doing a 30-day fat loss challenge where I am drinking 2 alcoholic drinks and 1 serving of ice cream per day. Now, I may get a little bit of backlash from this, promoting whether it's more drinking or poor eating, of ice cream, poor food choices, whatever it may be, but I want to be very, very clear. The reason that I'm doing this entire challenge is very simply to help people like you at home. It is not to show you that I can consume a bunch of calories and I can still lose weight because I'm 6'2", 200 pounds and have a decent amount of muscle mass. That is not the point. The point of this entire challenge is to show you that you can still eat the things that you want. You can still go to a cocktail party and have that drink without a bunch of guilt. You can still go out with your kids and grab a Big Mac or a burger without a bunch of guilt. You can, have those chocolate chip cookies that you love to have in the evening without a bunch of guilt. And I want to show you that it is possible to still get to your fitness goals, to still lose weight, to still lose fat while enjoying yourself and enjoying life. So first, let's really just break down. I have 6 things here, and you guys might be saying, oh, well, why do you have blanks here? Because I want you to watch the whole fucking video. I know some of you are just looking to get the answer as fast as possible, and I think there's a bunch of things along the way here that are going to help you immensely as we move through this, okay? So these 6 points are definitely I would say the most important things that you need to know with really any type of fat loss diet, and how to be successful with having the best fat loss diet, okay? So first and foremost, the most important thing, we start up here with number 1. Okay, you're probably wondering what that is. Oh no, my pen's out. Okay, so first and foremost, and I really hope that this board doesn't fall. I just spent like 20 minutes trying to just fucking put this board up, and I hope it doesn't fall. So the most important thing here, like we always talk about, is that calorie deficit. I don't care if you're on keto. I don't care if you're on low carb. I don't care if you're on high carb. I don't care if you're on Weight Watchers, if you're on Atkins, if you're on the ice cream diet, if you're on the pizza diet, if you're on taco diet. I don't really give a flying fuck what kind of diet you are on. You need to be in a caloric deficit to lose fat. That's really the only way. I don't care how much fucking cardio you're doing. I don't care how much you lift. I don't care how much muscle mass you have. I don't care how large you are, how small you are. If you are not in a caloric deficit, if you're not consuming less calories than you're expending, you are not going to lose fat, okay? That's just how it is. And if you want to check how many calories you should be eating for fat loss, I just covered this in my last video, so I'll link it up right up here. You guys can go ahead and look at that, click on that, you can go right to it, and then come back to this video, but I walk you basically all the way through, even through like a test dummy that we have, and I help you calculate out all of your calories so you can get started on the right track, okay? Number 2, needs to be blank, okay? Needs to be sustainable, right? Regardless of what you're on. Doesn't matter, like I said before, keto, Atkins, high carb, low carb, Weight Watchers, doesn't matter. Whatever you're gonna do has to be sustainable for your lifestyle. A lot of people are gonna go onto these, crash diets. They're gonna do these 28-day fixes or 30-day diets or 7-day cleanses, whatever it may be. They're gonna lose a bunch of weight really, really fast, right? And then all of a sudden they're going to gain a bunch of weight back because they reintroduce food again, right? It's not necessarily a healthy and sustainable way to lose fat, lose weight. So then people start going on these yo-yos. They start going up and down, right, with all of their weight, and they don't know why. But it always comes back to that average, which is a weight that they're usually not happy at. So we really need to make sure that whatever we do, we have to be able to do it for, I would say, at least 90 days. All right, let's get down to number 3 here. I know these beautiful pictures down here they're mesmerizing. You probably didn't even listen to me for 1 and 2 because you're just looking at these awesome pictures. So Yes, I drew these all myself. Yes, they're the best I could do, okay? But we're gonna work with it. So number 3 down here, I have a fish, okay? Eggs, protein shake, and right down there is a rotisserie chicken. And so the entire gist of this here is obviously protein. Protein is very important for fat loss. You know, obviously, yes, you can lose weight by just decreasing calories. If we want to lose fat, maintain muscle mass, and still be able to move that, you know, scale meter a little bit, we're going to need protein. Protein is going to allow us to hang on to a lot more muscle, especially as we start to decrease calories. Number 2 is going to keep us full longer, right? So protein is going to take a little bit longer to break down and digest, thus keeping us full a little bit longer, not as hungry. The last thing that we want is to not consume enough protein, decrease a bunch of calories, and then we're really losing out on a bunch of muscle. We're losing muscle actually because our body needs some type of substrate for energy. So that's why, you know, we consume high protein diets on, you know, a fat loss diet to be able to maintain as much muscle as possible. Because again, like I talked about in my last video, people want that kind of toned look. They want to have muscle, they want to decrease fat, and if we want to do that, protein is really important. When we think about protein and how much protein we need to take in within some type of fat loss diet, I always like to do 1 gram per pound of body weight per day. Okay, so if you're 140 pounds, you need to take in 140 grams of protein. If you're 100 pounds, you need to take 100 grams of protein, right? That's just going to really set the bar high. Most people are going to underconsume protein, and it's going to make it really difficult to, number 1, hit your calories, and number 2, hit your protein if you're not starting out with decently high protein food. So when you are thinking about protein, always think anywhere from like 40 to 50 grams per, or say 30 to 50 grams per meal. Okay, that's probably your standard and what you want to think about. And I really like to start off my meals with thinking about my protein, because that's one of the most important things when it comes to our fat loss diet. So start off with protein, and then we'll work from there. Okay, let's move on. So let's get into number 4 here. Number 4, I have 50% of the plate is blank. Okay, so the biggest thing to know here is with any type of fat loss diet, we want to limit our hunger, right? So we want to be really, really full, and we want to maximize the amount of food that we can eat with keeping the calories low. So that high protein that we talked about, number 3, is a really great way to do that. Now, choosing what we would call low calorie dense foods is also a way. And what people get in trouble with is usually with fat loss diets, they're limiting themselves on the amount of food that they're consuming, right? And they're consuming higher calorie dense foods. So their calories ramp up and they don't eat a lot of food. Thus they're either really unhappy, they're really irritable because they're super hungry and they're like, I already am at my caloric intake, right? So what we want to think about here is 50% of your plate being fruits and vegetables. Okay? So fruits and vegetables are low in terms of caloric density. So now we can consume a lot more of them, right, while keeping our calories really, really low as we kind of move through our meals throughout the day. So if you can't get both of them, if you can't get fruits and vegetables, get one of them, right? Say you're making, chicken breast with some Brussels sprouts and carrots and whatever it may be. Try and fill half your plate with the fruits or with the vegetables. That way you're not more inclined to overconsume on the higher calorie items like your chicken, or say you have some type of rice, or something else within your meal that's a little bit higher calories that is going to drive your caloric intake up. So I think this is a really good principle to have. It's a good guideline, whether you're a little bit above it or a little bit below it, that's okay. But it's just a good guideline to start to know, hey, number 1, you need to consume fruits and vegetables just for your overall health. Number 2, they're gonna keep you full longer. They're gonna keep the calorie count down, and they're gonna supply your body with good nutrients. So I think that's enough on that. All right, so now let's get into number 5 right down here. You need these 2 things no matter what, really no matter what fitness plan you are on. If you're trying to reach goals within your fitness and body transformation, anything like that, you need to be patient and you need to be consistent, okay? Too many times people get into this caloric deficit, right? And they're in a caloric deficit for not even 24 hours and they've already had enough of it. They go back to binge eating, they go back to eating whatever the fuck they want, and then they have trouble seeing those results. You also have people that'll go on crash diets for 7 days or 20 days or 14 days, whatever it may be, and then they wonder why they're not necessarily seeing results long term over the course of 5-6 months. Well, it's because you only did something for 7 to 14 days, right? We need to have some type of long-term approach about this and really exercise our patience throughout. So I would suggest if you have never tracked your calories for at least 90 days, you really have no room to complain, right? There is, first of all, there's proven that if you are tracking your calories, you're in a caloric deficit, you're consuming protein, you're exercising, you're eating fruits and vegetables, you will see that you will lose fat, lose weight, right? If you haven't, and I always kind of talk about this on my social media, if you haven't, you don't believe that it can actually happen. So you need to know that you have to execute some patience in this and be consistent with tracking your calories for a very long time. So I'm gonna put this here, right? And the way that I like to relate this is to, like, if you were to have someone, say you were to have someone new come into your job. You've been there for a long time, you have the skill set, you know what you're doing, right? And you have someone come in and they just immediately, write themselves off and say that they're gonna quit because they don't know how the hell to do it. They're not at your level yet. Well, what would you say to them? You say, you need to be patient and we need to get better and be a little bit more consistent with kind of our skill building. That's the same thing that happens here. I don't understand why people have this different thought process on losing weight, losing fat, and getting to their fitness goals. They want it really, really quick, but everything else in their life, they're looking and they know, like within your career and within your schooling and education, that it took a long time to get to where you are now. So have that same mindset about your fat loss, your fitness, okay? All right, last, let's get down to number 6 here. I have C.T.F.O, and that stands for chill the fuck out, okay? Regardless of what you're on, doesn't matter what diet, like I talked about before. To me, it really doesn't matter. Regardless of any diet that you're on, there's going to be times where you're frustrated. There's going to be times that you want to quit. And when you want to do that, just think about C.T.F.O. Chill the fuck out. You've never done it before, so how are you supposed to know what's supposed to happen at any given time, okay? There's going to be unexpected things that occur, right? Whether you spike up 5 pounds in weight one day or you stall in the weight room and your strength isn't going up, or your diet kind of goes off whack, you don't know what's going to happen over this time, right? You can only control what you can control, okay? And we need to chill the fuck out. So I put some chocolate, this is my best drawing of a chocolate chip cookie down here and a glass of wine, because I do think within some type of fat loss diet or any diet that you should treat yourself a little bit, right? I think that there's a time and a place that, we can, at night, we can have a cookie or a glass of wine. And I would encourage it because I think it's going to keep you, number one, it's going to keep your sanity, right? You're not going to be craving things all the time. Like, I mean, you can take any food. Say you take something you like and you ban yourself from eating it. You just say, absolutely not, I'm not going to do that. Say you like red wine and all of a sudden you're on this fat loss diet. You go, well, the diet doesn't call for wine, so I'm not gonna drink that. All you're gonna think about is drinking wine. That's all you're gonna do, okay? So treat yourself. Have something, track it, and then chill out, okay? That's the best way that I can explain it to people. Whatever you need to have to keep yourself sane, say it's like peanut M&Ms or the cookie, whatever it is, put it into your diet, track it, and then you can work up to that. Like, for example, right now, I'm doing this 2 drink and 1 serving of ice cream per day. I know that that is going to take up about 500-600 calories. So I am preparing for that during the rest of the day. I'm eating high protein items, I'm keeping my calories pretty low, and thus I'm going to be able to lose fat and still consume the things that I like to consume. So I hope that helps. I hope this all kind of makes sense. So let's just run back through it one more time. So make sure you're in a caloric deficit, something that's sustainable, consume high protein items, look to have 50% of your plate be fruits and vegetables. You absolutely need to practice patience and consistency, and then chill the fuck out because it's not all going to go your way. So if you guys like this video, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button or that thumbs up right down below, and subscribe to the channel so you can always know when my new videos are coming out. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I will link up all of my socials below. You guys can follow me, you guys can come connect with me, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it may be. I would love to hear from you all. See ya.